Okay, Tyrande armor, chest piece, and the headband. Let's talk about how I got those to attach to my body and why I had problems with it for other reasons other than attaching it to my body. So it's currently sitting in three pieces. Right here, here, and here. Sad state of affairs. But it's easy to repair because what's connecting all these pieces together that broke didn't really break. So I used chains or chain links, something similar to this. But actually, these were the ones I used for like the headbands, dangly bits and things. I used thicker ones for the chest piece and the bracer, and I don't have that package on me, but again, it's just a chain. I really don't know what millimeters it was, or meters. I just know they were like, maybe I can hold it up. They're like that. It's gonna be the, yeah, that's terrible. Terrible. They are like that. That kind of thickness. And so as you can see, I also have these lobster clamps at the bottom. And these were used for all of the feathers attachments, and on the bottom of the chest piece here, because these flare out, and then these little lobster clamps attach to the dress, and so this is what holds them up instead of them dangling like that. And then there's the chain at the bottom so that I can attach the feather as mentioned. So yeah, what happened is, because chain links aren't completely solid metal, there's a little gap from, you know, where you have a strip and then you bend it, and it's that point where they come together. So what was happening is there's downward force, and so walking the chest piece kind of has a little bit of a bounce because it's not completely tight. So that, you know, if I sit down, I can bend at the waist and bend at the legs. I can move in it. The problem with that is these pieces, this one in particular, has some weight to it. And it has more weight than the chain links can tolerate. They hold up well if you're not bouncing. Like, standard walking is fine. Going up and down stairs, not fine. Leaning against something, not fine. I do like this method though, so I'm going to try and do some repairs where I solder the links at the gaps in them, to stop the chance of them opening up just enough to pull apart. That'll be another test, but I'm open to suggestions of what else could be used besides these little chain links, or even better quality chain links that could do the same job. Free motion kind of is what I'm looking for. Being able to do this type of thing. And still be able to, you know, add attachments to it to be able to connect it to myself. And so in engineering, they have kind of that rule of 3 points of contact, so that if one point fails, you at least have 2 more points of contact to hold it up. And I do not have that anywhere on this piece. This only has the 2. It swings. But I haven't had a problem with this section here. It's not caused me any problems. This has been great. I think the weight is just enough for these links and it doesn't bounce that much for it to pull it apart. The problem comes when you add this piece, and I only have one point of contact right here. So right there. So there's a single stress point for this and this. And that's kind of what happened, that all the weight bouncing up and down, it pulled this off, and then as soon as that dropped, there was enough weight and momentum of this falling that it snapped the other one. I say snapped, but it's just like it pulled apart. Again, fixable, totally fixable, just an annoyance, because I have had to carry around pliers and another set of pliers, because they're so tiny you can't use your fingers, so you need pliers to hold it, and then hold one side and then use the other ones to hold the other one, and like do the thing, put them together, clamp them. So it's definitely, it's not perfect, I will say that, but I think under the right conditions it can work. And as I mentioned, I believe I mentioned, I am going to try and put it back together and solder a couple of key stress points so that I don't risk these pulling apart and opening up enough for the links to slide apart. So how I got this to attach to my dress, I did not want this to be sewn on. I didn't want Velcro. I've had problems with Velcro in the past. And her chest piece kind of floats on her outfit. And when I started building her, I wanted to make sure that the outfit was constructed in a manner that I could wash it. And so everything can come off of that white top and skirt. And then I could just take it to the dry cleaners and not have to worry about it. I could probably even throw it in my washing machine if I really cared. Or didn't care, I should say. But it is totally cleanable. I don't have to worry about hot glue or anything. And so that's why when it comes to this, I didn't want to use Velcro. Velcro can cause issues. But it needed to kind of float, right? So on the back here are magnets, neodymium magnets. And so there are 3 in the back of the plate, and then 3 more that are used to attach. And again, I didn't sew the magnets into the top because I don't want to risk messing up like my washing machine if I wash it here or somebody else's machine. I wanted it to be completely safe and functional. So the magnets are just sandwiched behind some Worbla. So the back piece is Worbla, and then I put the magnet down and then covered it in Worbla. And then this just pops on. They are very tricky to get off sometimes if you don't get a grip. And if you don't watch it, of course it will like attach to the ones over here. So sometimes trying to take this off, I've watched magnets jump from one to another post. That's always fun. So yeah, if I wanted to make a new top, I just make a new top and this can transfer to the new top. There's no major reworking. Also, depending on like how the new top gets made, if I made a new top, or how the top that I did make would fit, I can always adjust. So it sandwiches between pieces of, between the fabric that I'm wearing. And then if I don't get it quite right, you know, I can pull the dress top up, pull this down, vice versa. I can slide it around to get it to sit just where I need it to. So I like that. I like being able to adjust. So I definitely like the magnet method. I think there's a lot of good behind it, but these are powerful magnets, and you don't want to put your electronics near them, or you will no longer have a functioning thing of electronics. You would just have a paperweight. Don't do it. So there's that. So magnets here. I did also use magnets in the headpiece. Right? So just pops on, pops off. The crown here does also have 2 points here of chains, links, and those are for when it's on my head, and I have the moon jewel here and the strands of leaves and feathers, and then there's another band that goes around to the top, or to the back. And so all of that, again, just like the feathers on the top, this comes off, and so it makes it easier to pack, and it ensures that I don't crush my feathers either, because feathers are very fragile. And so the headband with the ears attached to it, like I mentioned, magnets again. This one, instead of the round magnets, it's a bar, or 2 bars. And so that was just to make sure I had some wider surface area, and there's that. It does have a little play to it, so it's not completely like locked in, not moving. But because it's magnets, they will realign themselves. So if I was to do this again, I would use 4 magnets total and do 2 on each side. So you can see it's kind of a funky looking thing here in the back. And that's because the crown on the back side was made flat, and I needed to mind the gap between the headband and the crown. So I needed to fill in that space. So the magnet, again, for both sides, sandwiched between Worbla. I will say one side of these, I don't remember which one it was, I added a little too much Worbla, so it definitely isn't as magnetic as I would like it to be, but it's not caused a problem. I've never had this come off. I've moved around a lot, and it's never been an issue. So that's that. That's how those 2 primary pieces attach. If there are any questions, feel free to ask. Oh, the magnets did come from K&J Magnets. I just know it's K&J Magnet. So it had good turnaround time if you order. Definitely remember to order 2 per connection area. That's important. Yeah. I think it was like a week it took to ship, so. Oh, do not throw away the packaging that comes with them. So they wrap them in like a cellophane, good thick plastic. And I threw it away. And so now when I ship it, I don't have anything to cover these with, so I have to cover them with clothes. Don't do like I did. So I would definitely save it and use it if you do travel with these things. Use it as a way to cover your magnets. One, not only to protect them from each other, because during shipping, I have things like that happen in my bag where earrings attach to all the things, and then I have to spend a little time pulling them apart. There we go. And so don't do that. Don't be like me. So yeah, if there are any questions, feel free to ask. I'm happy to answer. I do hope to make some updates as I'm trying to fix the chains. Some of the other kind of things that I didn't get to do and wanted to. Everything else. Oh, before I forget. There was one other area that I had that didn't work out quite like I hoped. So this was one of my armbands. It is pure Worbla. Nothing else. And then paint. But construction-wise, it's just Worbla. And I had attached it to itself. Here. And it broke. So, if you don't have a good contact, it can snap. So, and just for reference, it's the band that goes right here on my forearm. And so there was just so much pressure from flex that it just pulled it apart. And so I should be able to reconnect it, whether it's with the heat gun again or some super glue, or end up remaking it. I don't know. But those things can happen. So I hope that was helpful.